Okay, so what I had kind of planned for tonight is, well, really, as kind of what you guys would prefer. So I love how I always try to plan and get really far ahead and be like, this is how my class is going to go. But I'm a very flexible, movable person who's like, I just want to feel how the day starts. And that's kind of how I am at school too. So some days I'm like, you know what? I don't think we're going to do this. And I'll change my mind. So what originally I always had planned was the very last class was going to be a quiz game where I would quiz you on finger spelling and then I would quiz you on signs that we've learned. But I realized that we talked about so many more signs we wanted to learn as well. And so what I was going to ask and see what you guys were thinking was, would you want to go ahead with the quiz game or would you rather me give you guys some more signs? Because I know we talked about, I have on here talking about different types of jobs. And then, sorry, this room does have an echo. I apologize if you randomly see me just kind of looking around. There's an echo and I get, again, that this is me. Again, we know this is me, the distraction. So, but I know
I have a culture question.
Yes.
Okay, so I saw Joseph at church. I was so excited. It's like, I can say hi to you now. And so I was running over and saying hi, and his mom kept wanting to talk, which means I have to move focus. And eventually he just started going like this. And I'm like, oh man, I can't talk to you if you're not looking at me. So clearly he didn't want to talk. And it was kind of depressing. First try at actually talking. It didn't go well. So I don't even know what to ask. It didn't go very well.
Yeah, I can tell you, a lot of times, especially when you're talking with young kids, they are you have to make sure you have eye contact, especially if they're really young. It's because I teach 6th grade, but I still see all the kids from all over the ages. And it's always funny watching the little kindergartners and first graders because they are so cute. And I'm usually one who works with really, really young kids. So it's hard for me not to just go up and start talking with them. Whereas I walk by, and it's so funny because I'll try talking with one of them and their eyes are just like this. And I'm just like, I have to kind of follow with them and I'll move as I'm signing. And it's that whole kind of.
I think he was purposely avoiding me because he didn't want to talk.
I've also noticed that with a lot of times with the older kids, they're just they'll purposely just not look at me. I'm like, I know what you're doing. I know you're avoiding me because they know that if they can't see you, then there's no conversation.
Yeah, and I felt bad. I thought he'd be excited that somebody said hi. And so it was disappointing, but I mean, it's not like it's his fault. I was just all pumped and it didn't work out the way I thought.
Trust me, I understand. I remember when my first time going and talking with a deaf person, the very first time, and going to actually feel like I could actually use my signing. It was so exciting and I was so ready for it. And I'm trying to remember who it was, but I remember they were very cool, awesome, thanks, done. And I was like, I want to use more. And so it was it's one of those things you're so ready and you're like, but not everyone's ready for they're just okay, good for you, congrats. And then you have some that are like, oh my gosh, yes, let's talk. And you'll find it's the same as if you're talking to someone who knows Spanish, if you've been practicing Spanish and you speak Spanish to someone and they just are like, oh my gosh, and then they start talking in Spanish really, really fast. You have those, but then you also have some that are just okay, thanks, great. And I think it just happens with every culture, but it's always so funny to see, especially when you get so excited and you're like, oh wait, okay, you're not as excited as I am.
So I wanted to make sure I hadn't done some kind of socially unacceptable faux pas. I mean, but it sounds like it could have just been he just didn't want to talk.
Yes, because I will say, well, here's actually some interesting social cues that I learned from I took a deaf culture class in college because that's what you got to take that. If you're going to be teaching this language and using this language, deaf culture and ASL go very hand in hand. And so we had to learn about deaf cultures and some beliefs and values. And it was very interesting. I loved that class because I was just fascinated with it. But I remember they were saying what's really kind of interesting is how, especially before cell phones, it was I'm sorry, my nose is a little drippy. I'm trying not to touch my nose, but I know I'm doing it constantly. I apologize. This is a very cold house and my body is not getting adjusted to it yet. So I'm just going to be doing all night. I'm not sick. It's cold. But anyways, So in deaf culture, a lot of times it's very important, especially back in the olden days. I say that, but I gotta be careful because olden days is not that long ago. But before telephones and before, easy access. When I mean by telephones, I mean like cell phones where you can type and text on them. But if a group of deaf people met up and were talking, it's very important to make sure you say bye to every single person. And the reason for that was because back then, sometimes they didn't know when they were going to see each other next. So it's very important to get they would almost like, I've had some friends tell me that it's like they're trying to tell you every single thing that's ever happened all in one conversation. And they just keep going and going. And so you have to if you leave, they're not going to realize and just go, oh, she's probably left. No, they're going to be like, where did she go? And I remember when I heard that, I was like, wow, why? I mean, that's what I do. But I'm hearing why is that such a big deal in deaf culture? And they said it's because basically back then, if we wanted to see our friends and go, hey, wanted to chat with them, we call them up on our phones, and so that would take, they can't do that because there was not an accessibility at that time. And so they'd either have to go to the house and hope that they can get them to, see them or any of that, or have to write a letter. And so sometimes it's very challenging, especially because if they live far away. I mean, how are you, if you're like, for example, if your friend lives 30 minutes away and you're driving to go visit your friend, and you always are going to first go, hey, I'm coming over, just letting you know. Like, I know there's a few friends that you can just show up at, but even my best friend of 10 years, who I practically lived at her house every weekend because I spent the night all the time. Even I still text her, hey, I'm coming over, just let you know, tell your mother so she knows as well, just let everyone know. So, but they weren't able to do that. So when they were able to get together and meet, it was a very big deal. It's like, okay, here's everything that's happened in these past couple of months of seeing each other. So I just thought it was so interesting that they were like, it's very important when you show that you are leaving, that way that conversation's finished, like the conversation is finished in that sense. So, but you probably, as long as you make sure, because when you're talking to someone, obviously you want to be clear on that. Like if they don't see you as like tapping on their shoulder, that's a very that's how you get someone's attention. You don't always want to just wave aggressively in their hands. They're going to go, whoa, what are you doing? Like, I can see you. And I've heard someone jokingly tell me, I'm deaf, not blind. And I was like, that was funny. I laughed so hard. I remember I was like, because they literally were like, I can see you. It's fine. But I'm sorry. I realized my camera's on this side. There's a little chat box and my chat's not showing up. So I have to move. I apologize. My fingers right in the face. So the cool thing is that the really cool thing is that with cell phones now, especially with touchscreen phones, such as that have text messaging, it really greatly reduces that struggle, especially with FaceTime. FaceTime is such an important thing. And that was really progressive for the deaf community on how to communicate. And I see it in the classroom. It's impressive because we have where, like, for example, I have one of the teacher aides. She's taking one of my kids over to the infirmary because she's sick. And she will FaceTime me on my phone and I can go, hey, what's up? And she'll tell me what's happened. And that's like calling. Or she can text me. And so it's so much easier those barriers kind of come down. And it's really cool to see. And it also really helps with when deaf people have to go out into the hearing world, where they have to talk to someone at a grocery store. They can show them their phone, type out what they want, and show it to them. And it makes it kind of easier instead of having to try to point, show, all those kind of different issues, not issues, but struggles they did have. Now with phones, like they can type it down in their notes. I need blah, 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 for blah, blah, blah. Shows it, there it is. And so it's really, technology's really been very beneficial and helpful. As much as we enjoy using it, it also has been very beneficial for the deaf community, I've noticed. And I think that's just so cool, because back in the day, they used to have what's called oh dear, I'm going to skip the letters wrong, TTY, which was a type, like text to type. Basically, if you had someone on the phone, that is okay. I'm trying to describe it. I'm not great at describing this because it's a technology and I'm not always sure I'm saying it right. Basically, if someone was on the phone, like if I was calling someone, that on that phone would be connected to another person who would be hearing it and typing it on a keyboard or on a typewriter, really. And then that letter would be sent to the deaf person. So they're receiving the phone call, but through text typing. And this was obviously before cell phones and, well, not before cell phones, but before cell phones, when they had typewriters. And it was really cool technology that they used. There's all kinds of interesting technologies they use to find ways to communicate easier and manage it better. But that was a total side note. I apologize, but I mean, I just think they're always cool to learn. So yes, Lauren.
Sorry. Okay. I had another question. And then two, I was going to say, I used to work at a doctor's office and we had 2 deaf patients and they still had to have an interpreter in the room because we were prescribing narcotics. But the interpreter could just, because they were older, so they couldn't handle like the patient portal and the email, but their interpreter would just make rounds in Birmingham and then just FaceTime them and then be like, okay, when's the next appointment? Okay. And then she could sign to her instead of them having to come in. Cause they were like, I think the woman and her husband were deaf and they were in their 70s. Mm-hmm. Like that made it really cool, especially with COVID and everything. But my question was, so I think there's one on HBO. I'm not sure of the name, but I don't think you'd show this for your kids, but are there any ASL like TV shows or movies you show your kids? Because I know there's like Switched at Birth was like a big thing when I was kind of in high school and college. I never got into that, but is there any shows that are like movies you play for your kids that are meant to be in ASL only?
So there are a couple of videos. They're not as what I mean is well known. They're not as widely popular that we would see. There are some ASL translated videos, like stories, like, you know, classics like Jack and the Beanstalk or Goldilocks and the Three Bears. There's always, and there's also, you can find those on YouTube as well, is there's a lot of ASL story videos on there. One of my favorite actual like movies that I like, I haven't shown it to my kids, but it's PG, and so I want to one day, and I've been considering about when it'd be a good time, because I feel it's a very eye-opening movie for not only deaf people, but it's also very eye-opening for hearing people. And it's called No Ordinary Hero, the Super Deafy movie. And it's like, it's one of my favorites. I get emotional every time I watch it. And basically what it is about this man who is a TV show actor who is deaf. And he is actually he's a deaf actor, which is always something I love to see, is when you have real people using, like, that are actually portraying those kinds of characters. You know, I just feel that's always something that just kind of really connects it more. And so he's on this TV show as a deaf superhero, and he has a coworker who is hearing, who's the police officer, the good guy, like one of the good cops. And it's just funny little silly jokes they do all throughout the episode, but it's also bringing awareness of ASL. And that's one side of it. The other side is this family where this little boy is deaf and his parents are hearing. His mother's more accepting and has learned ASL to communicate with him. His dad has been very, very hard and very strict on the cochlear in speech. And so it's showing those differing opinions and how they really are impacting this kid. And so he's in a public school. And I think in the school, they also provide a class that's for deaf kids, like it's taught through ASL. But he's not in it. He's in the mainstream, the classrooms that are more what we're familiar with seeing, where he has an interpreter. And that's kind of, well, no, I don't think he does he does not have an interpreter, because again, his dad is very like emphasizing hearing. And so it just shows how they go about the world. It's a really good movie. I love it. And it gets to your heartstrings, will not lie. Like, I always cry when I watch it. It's so good, but you're just like, oh, my heart can't handle it, especially when it comes to the little boy. And I recommend, if you ever do get a chance to see it, it's a really good movie. And I think it just really does bring out that information. Like, it really helps hearing people be a little more aware of situations, especially with the whole controversy of cochlear implants versus ASL, basically, or speech versus ASL, because that is a big discussion. And in the deaf community. So I see a lot of questions. I'm sorry. Got to pull my chat up. It is not saved up. Okay. Yes. So the movie is, I'll just type it. Give me a second. You guys, I'm on my iPad, so it might look really weird to me close up, but I apologize. But this way you guys can have it. Oh. Nope. There we go. But it's a really good movie. I'm trying to remember where I saw it last was on. It was on a streaming service, but I do not know if it is anymore. I keep meaning to buy it. Wait, there's another chat. I apologize. I got to back up. But so I have not read El Defo, but I have the book in my classroom. I keep meaning to read it. It's a really cute looking book, and it's a graphic novel. For those who are not aware, and basically is portrayed as the characters are like bunny rabbits, and one little girl is deaf and she has a cochlear implant, I believe. And so I have not read it. I keep meaning to, but I'm also, again, a very emotional person, so I just know me reading is going to make me just sob. So I always have to like find a good day when I can like sit there and be like, okay, if I cry and sob, it's going to be okay, and get through the book. But I do have it in my classroom. Sometimes my kids will, well, that's good. I'm glad it's not really sad. Okay. I mean, I'm telling you guys, it's bad. Like I won't lie. I went to go see Frozen in the theaters and I cried at Frozen. This is how emotional of a person I am. So there's a good chance I'll probably cry anyways. But I like to always get excited when my kids pick up the book and they'll look at it, and I kind of will look at them and go, what does she have? And they're like, a cochlear? I'm like, yeah. And they kind of are like, what? But there's a couple more books that I want to get that we found in the library recently. I never saw this before, but it's the deaf culture section, and it's books, but it's like kids books that are having, kids who are deaf and all, and having some really cool sign language and finger spelling in the books. And my kids were just like, what? And I told them next week when we go back to the library, we can go pick out some of those. So it's just always cool. I get always especially excited when I see anything ASL related. It's a very big thing. But yes, are there any other questions you guys have? Or if you guys don't feel like I answered a question completely, we can always go back. I know I do tangents where I just kind of curve off, and sometimes I don't come back. So there's many chances that it happens. And again, I got to get this chat so I can see it while this is happening. Nope. Okay. I don't know how to do that on this. Sorry, my iPad just doesn't want me to see. But okay. So, and again, if you do have any questions that do pop up, just feel free to ask them. Like, I don't mind. So besides that, we'll go back onto what I said were the two things that we could do tonight. Okay. We're still going on time. Just checking. Is we could do a quiz game, or we could just learn some more signs. I could give you guys some more signs for like jobs, like occupations. And I don't think we've done verbs like jumping and those kinds of verbs as well. So we could do that. Again, I'm sorry, I got lift and see. Yes. And that is a challenge. That is a big challenge for when you're practicing, is you can feel like you're doing as good as possible. You feel like you're doing, oh, I'm doing great, I get this. And then you actually have to use it, or you're actually having to use talking to someone and you're like, whoa, I don't know this. So what we could do is we could do about half of it is practicing, and then the other half can be for those kind of like last minute verbs. And I can actually try to like keep myself quiet, so I can just give you the verbs instead of me having the little side stories every time. So I can give you guys as many signs as possible. So does that sound good with you guys? Start with a little quiz game and then go on to some signing. Perfect. Okay. Let me open my phone real quick. There we go. All right. Nope, that's not. Where am I going? Here we go. Okay. And let's see. Okay, so we're going to start off real quick with our finger spelling. I have a long list, but I will only shorten this finger spelling because that is something that I feel you can over time kind of practice and get with. It's the signing itself that does take time. So we're going to start off easy. Are you guys ready? Number 1. I love watching Vivian. She just jumps so fast. It's like, I know it. Okay. No, and that's good. That is good. So yes. Okay, I'm gonna sign it. I'm gonna finger spell it one more time. Okay. Henry. Thank you, Henry. I thought I did a good job. So yes, it's cat. All right. And then we have, so I'm going to go a little longer because I think it's almost a little too easy, these 3-letter words, especially for your class, because you guys are just so fast at it that I'm like, gotta challenge you guys a little more. So, okay, here's the next word. All right, I'll do it again. Same here, Vivian. Y'all missed it, but my sister recently showed in to say hi to Miss Katie's oldest daughter. They've been friends for so long, and they go to the same college, but yet I don't think they get to see each other as much. So I was like, hey, come say hi. But yes, so sister, right? Perfect. Whoa, that's a big age difference, man. Mine's only 4, almost 4. I'm like 3 years and 11 months because they had to be born a month before me. So, wow. That's always so wild. Age differences are just so crazy. Because most of the time I see 3 years, but wow, that's a big age difference. Okay, I'm sorry. Distraction. Moving that out of the way. Okay, so now that's true. I did forget about that. Wow, I'm sorry. I'm having a moment. I'm going, my gosh, the big age difference, and then just like those really short ones. Like, oh my goodness.
Total tangent, but okay, my cat knocked my camera down. Total tangent, but I was just thinking, the bigger the family, the more likely you are to 2 of Scout's really good friends are already aunts, and they're 18. But it's just because they have older siblings, they're the youngest. And so, yeah, like it's just very weird for my own daughter to have friends who are aunts already. And it makes me feel 1,000 years old.
That's literally my mom though, because my mom, my aunt is 14 years older than my mom. And so when my mom was 4 years old, my aunt, I think at that point was getting married and had moved out. And so my mom was like an aunt by like age 5 or 6. So it's insane. And it's kind of funny how my parents will, because my parents had kids when they were older. So all of their friends all are like, oh yeah, my grandbabies. And and my parents are like, we still got our kids in the house. And they've been saying that for a while. They're just like, but it's always so wild hearing whenever someone's like, I got an aunt who's like 5 years older than me, or an uncle. And you can only imagine, especially with, like you said, those really big families, you're just like, wow, that's just wow. And like I always get stuck with the Duggar family. There's like 19 of them, and some of them have kids, and then some of them are still, I'm just like, wow, that's just, oh my goodness, I could only imagine having grandkids while still having kids in the house. Like my brain can't handle that. I'm like, that's y'all's thing, go for it. But I'm like, wow, that's just a lot. I would get so jumbled. I know I would. I can't even get my dogs and cats names and my sister's name right. I call my dog my sister's name about 40 times a day, and my sister gets really mad. Thankfully, she's not here for it, but now that she is, she catches me when I say it to the dog, and she's just like, you did not just call the dog my name. I'm like, I'm sorry. Or I'll be trying to talk to her and I'll call her the dog, and she just stares at me. I'm like, that's not your name, is it? She's like, no. So we all do that though. Like even my mom does it. She did it with me. So that's just our little family. Can't remember. But oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, you guys. I'm so distracted. Okay. Here is our next word. Okay. Orange. Oh, excuse me, hiccup. Orange. Mm-hmm. Vivian, I saw you hesitate. I just thought I'd tell you. I saw it. She's like, wait a minute.
I missed the first letter, so I saw all the rest of it. I was like, wait, what? But then I got it.
You're like, range. Wait a minute. I know that word, but have we actually used that? All right, let's see. Okay. Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna do a really long one. Not a really long one, but it's a long one, but I think it'll be a fun challenge. So I want to see if you guys can get it, okay? Wait, no, I spelled it wrong. Oh my gosh, I spelled it wrong. I was like, that's not right. That's not right at all. I worried I was gonna do this. I apologize. Vivian, erase your entire writing. You know, I worried about that. I can try with my right hand. It's not as reliable. So, okay, let's try and make sure I can spell this right. Okay. I'm sorry. I just love watching Vivian. She's writing it down. She's literally looking up and going, but yes, magazine. I'm sorry I spelled that wrong the first time. I literally was sitting there going, the next letter is G. And I was like, wait a minute. No, G is before the Z. Why did you do this wrong? And I was so worried I was going to spell it wrong in the first place. But yes, so Miss Amy, I did see you say book. So the sign for magazine that I've seen is, it's like you have your little Q and you go magazine. And it's because it's so thin, magazine. But also I think you could use book, and then if you did finger spell it, again, you would still get your point across. So, but yes, I will accept that. Okay, now let's see. Okay, what we'll do now is we'll do signs, because I think you guys would like the signs more. All right, and now a fair warning. I'm trying to make sure I only use the signs that you guys have learned. I apologize if I do put up a sign and you're like, I have never seen that in my entire life. Just tell me. Because again, the class is always different in some spots. So I might end up showing a sign that you guys have not seen, and just let me know. I will do my very best. Okay. Okay, are you guys ready? Okay, so the first one. It also can be, yes, Miss Katie. I'm sorry. I was really excited. Yes.
I've only taken this class like 5 times already.
I would hope you would at least know. There's just a few words I would hope you'd be like, oh no, I know that one by now. But yes,
Definitely
pizza.
got the 2 most important, cat and pizza. So
Yes, that's what matters. That's literally how I am. I memorize my favorite foods, and then the other ones that I don't like, I'm like, I will try my best to learn them, but if I forget them, it's not the end of the world, because I'm not going to use them because I don't like it. So that's always how I go about things. But okay. All righty, good job. And again, if you're like, I don't know, don't stress. Please don't stress, because we have learned so many signs, and I did not do a quiz game earlier. So you're trying to have a guess on literally probably hundreds of words that we've signed. So it is A-okay if you do not know them. I just want to give you guys that comfort. Okay. All right, here's our next one. Okay, I'm sorry, my roof, I got a little tingle, but okay, it's a person. If this helps, I'm trying to figure out how to describe it without describing it.
Are you waiting for me?
I'm just waiting on anybody.
Oh, okay. I was expecting Vivian to jump in and type it. And I was like, all right, gosh, she's got this.
Like, no, I was literally just watching going, okay, has everyone typed? But I also can't always tell because my chat box refuses to stay open. So there's a good chance that I might have been just sitting here awkwardly staring at you guys, and I apologize. But this is dad, father. I can definitely see why you would say a rooster. I can. Trust me, I can. Like, because I was sitting there going, this is an interesting sideways of me doing this, but it's because you haven't seen it lately. And there are videos, there are quiz videos.
No, practice singing Baby Shark. You'll never forget dad, mom. Because it's like there's the shark and it's father shark. Anyway, I've got kids.
Yeah. No, that's how it helps you remember though, is when you have, I always love finding songs that I like and that are slow, because you don't want to be singing any of those fast like rap songs trying to go like this, because your fingers are just going to break. Your fingers will literally hate you. I promise. I've tried it and they were screaming in agony. And I was like, okay, never mind. But you want to find like a good slow song that you're like, okay, these are like basic words that I know, like Baby Shark, and practicing like signing them, you know, like Mommy Shark and all of those kinds of things. I love doing that. That was one of my favorite things to do. I got so into it sometimes that I would forget that I would like need to stop, as like I'd be getting in the car and I'd be ready to start driving. My mom would be like, you're going to have your hands on the wheel, right? And I'm like, yes, I will. Because I would get so into the song and I was so focused on practicing. She's just like, please do not kill us in this car. And I'm like, I promise I won't. So don't sign while you're driving, but that's the moral of that little story. Anyways, okay. So then let's do another word. I'm trying to think of some kind of easier ones that might ring a bell a little more to give you guys a confidence boost, because I know you're probably like, oh my gosh, I can't remember any of these. Let's see. Okay, I have one. Okay, y'all ready? Yes, Candy. I was gonna say, I hope we knew this one. Peach. Well, you know what? I guess you could call, if you know, really like your fruits and veggies, you could call a peach a piece of candy. It's sweet. I'll give you that. C plus for effort.
Wait, now I'm confused. What is this? Shy or
This is peach.
peach? Okay, so what was I doing? This is candy.
Yeah. Shy.
Shy. Okay.
Yeah.
I was just doing it wrong. Okay.
Yes. But yes, I was hoping you guys would get candy because of how many times we talked about the song I Want Candy. And we talked about it during our Halloween signs and when we talked about food. So I was like,
I feel like this is a very distracting sign because when all I can associate it with is Shirley Temple. Like, I don't know. So like my mind goes blank, you know, like I'm not thinking candy. It's just so like, you know.
I was also gonna say Austin Powers. So
with the pinky is what you mean. Oh my gosh, but yes, no, we'll see. And I think, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, you guys. I just heard, I'm sorry if you can hear that. That is okay. So that's my aunt's dog. He's staying with us for the week, and he has like a whole like he's got like that only child syndrome. Okay, where you know everything has to happen for him, and he was very unhappy when my aunt left, and he finally managed. And then my mother was like, I have to go somewhere. And I was like, you're seriously gonna leave him? He whines. Like, I love him to death, but he's like the biggest baby. And I think he's not managing that, like, I'm not in the room either. And he's just like, I can't even right now. So I apologize if you hear him. He's a big drama queen. He's totally fine. He's literally been doing that. And I just stare at him and I'm like, Milo, sweetie, please, shh, it's gonna be okay. And he's just like, it's not okay. So I literally was just like, I heard him and I was like, oh no, please tell me you've been so good. But I think he's finally hitting his moment. So if you hear him, please ignore him. He's just being, like I said, a drama queen. Okay. All right. So now let's come back to our signs again. Let me move on from food. Okay. All righty. Okay. I have one. I hope you guys remember this one. This one was one of my favorites. It was so cute. I'll give you a hint. It's an animal. Okay. It's the cute ones that you remember. It's the ones that you loved and were like, this is so cute. I need this in my life. So yes, turtle. Turtle, yeah. It's those cute ones. I know. It's me too. I never forgot turtle. All right, let's see. Okay. I'm literally going through all of our signs trying to pick because I keep changing my mind on which ones I want to use. Okay, I'm gonna do a slightly challenging one. It's very long in the past, so if you don't remember, it's okay. Okay. So Monday. You know what? But I give you props for at least being in the times, you know. It's okay. We did this one like our first or second class, so like that's been like 6 weeks. So I don't expect you to have to.
What was it? Like, what did we learn that class?
It was so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday with our little S, and then our Sunday or Sunday. It's totally fine. Don't you worry. I promise. Like, this is ASL 1 beginner, not expecting you to be like, oh no, I've learned every single one and memorized them all. So like, do not stress. I promise. I'm also I keep moving myself to where I just feel like I keep slowly shrinking out of the screen, and I apologize. I'm just a very like, I have to sit in a chair or I just start slouching and kind of curling up. And so I'm trying to keep myself up high, but it is a challenge. Okay, let's see another one. Okay, I have one. Okay, remember, this is on the side of my head. Mm-hmm. Yes. Oh. Miss Katie, there's a spelling error in that one, and I just thought I'd tell you. I can't understand. So close. So uncle. Yeah. But yes. So Lauren, horse is horse. And then uncle. I can see, that's why I was like, you guys, it's on the side of my head, because I was like, we just kind of did, there's Thursday, there's horse, there's uncle, there's a lot. And that's why I was like, okay, it's on the side of my face. Let's hope that helps. So, okay, let's see. And then another one. I keep staring at the screen going. All right. Okay. Exactly. You want to find those key things. Finding that you, I was like, maybe this will help because it's a you. And I'm glad it did. Okay. The next one. Okay, ready? Perfect. Book. Good. I'm sorry, that did make me just kind of think of Popeye going gug. I do not know what happened there. That's what my brain went to, and I apologize how to voice that out because it just, I don't know. The way I said it sounded weird. I think it's the echo in this room kind of came back. I was like, that did not, that's how I sound? No. So yes, my favorite two books. I have like 5. I brought them here and I keep bringing more. Every time someone leaves to go back, I'm like, can you bring another one of my books? Like, I'm spending this whole week because, okay, I know, I promise I will stop having these side bits, probably not, but this week we have no school, which is the greatest thing. It's a nice long break. So I've been literally all day just sitting there reading my books. All day, just sitting. I moved from being in the living room to being in the bedroom to being upstairs in our little loft. I get to literally just sit wherever I want and read my book. And it's so great. So literally this is what I've been doing all day. Like, oh my goodness. Oh, excuse me. Wait, I have to see this chat. There we go. Oh my gosh. You know, like it's very, very true in my household as well. I have a lot of books, and I never realized that because when I was living with my parents, and my room was a small room because I swapped rooms with my sisters when I went to college. And so I had the smaller room. Well, there's not really enough rooms to put bookshelves in my room because I had so many things as there anyways. So I was very creative about shoving books like under, like having a nice little stack of books under my bed, in my closet, in these shelves. Like, I mean, they were everywhere. But the problem was that because I never saw them, I was like, I don't have any books. I need more books. And so, especially when I started working and I was like actually making like big girl bucks, I was like, I need to buy more books. And I literally would just go to the store and buy like tons and tons of books. and to the point where I literally just had stacks on my nightstands, just stacks of books all over the place. And even then I was still like, I don't have that many.
I want to tell you
And-
something exciting, Jillian.
Mhm.
With your library card, you can check out books and we have automatic renewals. So it's almost like buying them because the book can automatically renew, I think, for up to 6 more weeks. So you would get a total of 9 weeks unless somebody puts a hold on it. So I'm just saying.
I love it, but unfortunately I'm a book hoarder. I like to keep my books. It's been because my mother wouldn't let me when I was a kid. And I didn't buy just one book with my big girl paycheck. I bought like 20. I'm not even lying. I wish I was being as dramatic as I am, but I really am not. I went to like the secondhand Charles and Hoover. They have a great just amount and it's not expensive. And I go there all the time and it's really dangerous. I've spent so much of my money there. And I just would keep constantly saying, I don't have that many books. And then I finally, like when I bought my house and I was packing up my boxes and I was like, the first thing that I want to have is my books. I want to see them. I'm so tired of not knowing all the books I have. And I was putting them in the box and I was like, I had this really big one. And then the box got full. And I was like, okay, now how many more do I have left? And then I was like, oh my gosh, there's still a lot more. I slid the box over and I was like, okay, another one, packed it up. And I was like, I still have more. And then as I finally was moving more and more stuff out, I would find more and more books. And I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know I had this many. And when I brought them over to my house, I had 2 tall bookshelves that were my grandmother's that were at her house that we got to move for me. And I filled them up, both of them. And like the books weren't like sideways like this. No, like I stacked them. So they like filled to the top. They are all full and I've already got layers in front of the books. So I have to buy more bookshelves now because I have so many books and it's so bad. And I'm just like, but it's my proudest thing. I stare at it and I go, I'm happy. My books are here and does not stop me from buying more. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I get so, ooh, see, I'm really into really spooky books right now. Like I'm into the scary ones right now and I need to not because they really scare me. I like scary stuff, but I'm a total wuss, you guys. Like I watch something scary and I'm like, okay, with the light on tonight will be happening. And I found those in books. And I also like those really classic, like, Murder, She Wrote murder mysteries, that have the show. And I literally have like 20 of her books and I'm reading one of hers right now. I love them so much. I love the show, love the series, but like, it's bad. I have them all over. I have books all over the place. Like from scary stuff to like really cool nonfiction to not very many of those. I will lie. I'm a very big fiction person, but I do also have my kids' books. Like well, not really kids, but the young adult ones, the younger ones, and it's all over the place. Like I got a good stack of the Diary of a Wimpy Kid books. I cannot let them go, but there's so many of them. And I keep trying to like be like, hey, you guys, like in my class, I'm like, you guys should read this. It's fun. You'll like it. And they're just like, nah, I don't care. I'm like, read the book. You will like it. And they're just like, so I'm ready to just slide it in and sneak it on them. But that's okay. It's fine. Because I'm getting them into The Witches by Roald Dahl right now. And I'm like, I'm happy. They are so into that book right now. It's the greatest thing in the world. I'm just like, yes, because he was my favorite author as a kid. And I love books. I'm sorry. We did go off on a really big tangent, but I'm also really glad to know that everybody else was in this right now. It wasn't just me.
No, you're fine. I was gonna say, have you read the Anne George books? They're kind of like Murder, She Wrote, but like if it were for set with the Golden Girls. So just
No, it's not.
I looked at like 13 and devouring them. So yeah, just Anne George, look them up.
Anne George, I'm sorry, you guys. Give me like 1 second. I have to find another. I'm like, because I secretly worry. There's like 40 books of the Murder, She Wrote books, but like I secretly worry that I'm going to run out because I keep buying more and more and more. Oh my gosh. Wait, yes, I've looked at hers. I haven't bought one yet, but I've literally looked at them like, oh, I need to really try to read into this. But I was so obsessed with Murder, She Wrote and Jessica Fletcher that I like stopped. But yes, I will have to look into that because I'm also a big Golden Girls fan. Like I have a big obsession with books, but I also have a big obsession with my TV shows and my movies. And I have like a ton of pop figures from all over the place. So it's a very nerdy room, which I'm very proud of. So, okay. There was a huge side note, and I apologize. And I know the people that'll be watching this later going, I don't care about this. Where's the signing? But it was educational. So this was a very good educational point. So, okay, let's go back to some signing some more words. All right, let's see. Okay. All right. Yes. So wait, give me a second. I'm sorry. It's again that chat box that will not stay open. Okay. So we can do, how about right now, instead of doing some games, what I can kind of do is more of those signing questions, like, excuse me, like, where's the bathroom? How are you? And describing how you would describe things. So we give you guys some more, I can give you guys some more sentences that will be more structured. Okay. So the first one we'll do is how are you? And I think we've done it before, but again, we'll go over it. So it's how. And it doesn't matter which thumb goes up. Mine is usually my left hand because I'm left-handed dominant. So that's a very weird describing of it, but that's what I am, is I'm left-handed. So yours probably might go right. If it goes left, it doesn't matter. It's how you. So how are you? How you. And again, when you're asking, you want to have your eyebrows on, like, how are you? How are you? Because up means yes or no. Down is a who, what, when, where, why question word. So we have how are you? When you're asking about something like place or a name, you will again, or what you will do is you'll have how are you is kind of a different story, but for things like where's the bathroom, you will say first bathroom, and then you will say the sign for where. So bathroom, which is that T, bathroom, and then you have like your little hook going where. And a lot of times I'll say, I've noticed people will still do that where kind of mouth movement. You don't have to. That just is, I'm just telling you that you might see it. So if it helps trying to identify if someone's asking you that question, you can use some mouth movements, because not everybody will just sign with no, a lot of times they don't, is sign just with their mouth closed, like they're using their mouth motions or moving it, and so you can use those kind of context clues to help pick up on what they're saying as well. Okay, for what is your name, you would go your name, what. Perfect. And then for nice to meet you, you'll go nice to meet. To meet is like, and you want to, again, this is that directional I was talking about. And so you want your fist, like the inside of your finger, like your thumb's almost about to touch, like insides. Yeah. So you see, it's like they're coming like that. There we go. But you want to use that directional. So this one, the one that's closest to you is you. And then whoever this one is you're going to have it facing whoever you're talking about. So nice to meet, nice to meet, nice to meet. Okay. So nice to meet you. Then we have our thank you, which is then thank you. And then I don't think I showed you guys your welcome. So your welcome is going to be, okay, let me get on my knees real quick so you guys can see it better. So your welcome is going to be, you're going to have your hand again, outward palm, because this is your welcome. And it comes, yeah, welcome. You see, it's like kind of welcome. Sorry, that's a weird position, but you're welcome. Welcome. Let's see, what are some other basic sentences? For stuff like saying I like, I want. So I like is, you would say like, oh, perfect. That's a good one, Katie, Miss Katie. Thank you. So this is like, again, it's your middle finger and your thumb, and you pull them out like. So books, I like. Then we have want. And you can also, I will say, I mean, the more structure of it is you would do books, I like. But if you did, I like books, that's also accepted. I've seen kids and adults sign it both ways. So I feel both ways are still accepted. It's just more, it's kind of like how in English, you know, we have the more proper grammar of how we're supposed to exactly say something, but we don't always follow with it. It's still accepted to use it this other way, as the same way in ASL. Then for I am learning ASL, so you would go me. And again, I'll show you both ways. So it's me, learn. So you start with your hands on top and then you close. Yeah, learn, ASL. And so what you could do instead is learn ASL me. Is you would do that. Learn ASL me. Oh, excuse me. A lot of times that's what I see is learning ASL. You still can also go learn sign. This one is a little more, there's two different signs for the word sign. There's sign with fist open and then sign. So yes, and I think that's why it's almost a little easier for Spanish speaking parents to pick up on ASL more, to use it to communicate with their kids who are deaf. Because I do know a lot of kids who have Spanish speaking parents and they don't use Spanish at home. They still use ASL, or they might use, or they'll use the gestures. But for those who have more, they have built a better communication, they use ASL still. So I think that's one of the reasons why they're able to, which is always very interesting. Okay, let's see. I'm trying to think of simple sentences. What's hard for me is like, because I know them, they're not simple, they're all simple in my mind. But let me see. Okay. No, well, I'll show this, but it almost kind of helps more Vivian, because yes, that's a good one to ask. The reason I say it helps more Vivian is still in school. As in like, yeah, so you could say what grade you're in. And so the sign for grade is going to be your G, and it's going to be grade. Grade. This is also for the sign for like your test grades and anything of that sort, but this is grade. And Vivian, what grade are you in, if you don't mind me asking?
8th.
8th. So then you would sign 8th, grade 8th. And that's what you would do for 8th grade, 7th grade, 6th grade. What actually kind of gets cool, this is kind of a cool thing for high school, is when you start high school, you start using your fingers. So freshman, sophomore, sorry, I'm going fast. Okay. Your non-dominant is going to be the pointer, the hand like this. Your dominant is going to be the one that's actually going to move. So you'll have your finger touch the center of your palm, whichever one you mean. So like, this is my ring finger touching my palm, and this means freshman. Sophomore is going to be middle finger touching palm. Junior is going to be pointer finger touching palm. And then senior is going to be thumb touching palm. And this is for high school and college. So this can go for all those, is which one. But you do want to say, you would want to say college if you're trying to be clear. And then college is going to be college. College. Yeah. I tend to use the C for college. I did get one of the students looked at me and goes, what is that? What is that? And I was like, college. And she goes, oh, you mean, and she fingers spell, she goes, oh, you using that C. And I was like, okay, well, you know what? Everyone else uses it, but fine. I'll make sure to not. So college. But yeah. Okay. So then I'm sorry, I'm pulling up that question that you had, Miss Amy. That was a good one. Okay. So for your day yesterday, how would you say your day was? So I'm trying to figure out the best way to word it, because it can get kind of weirdly worded. Is you would want it, so you would start with your time. So you would go yesterday, your day, and you can do how. A lot of times it almost kind of is like a little weird having it set up like that, at least for me, that I always end up going with, is it like, I'll be like, yesterday, your day good? Like I'll go with that, asking, was it good? But you still can use how. So it would be yesterday, so corner of your lip to back of your ear, yesterday, your day, how. All right. And then let's see. I'm trying to think of some other good ones that would be, if you guys can think of any simple sentences that you guys think would be useful to have. I'm trying to think. Again, I'm not. I see typing, so that helps.
Can we try some out? If we think we can communicate something, and then you can tell us or correct us.
Oh, we could, yeah. So I'll do these 2 sentences, and then yes, we shouldn't do that. I mean, yes, we should do that. That would be fun. Okay, so the first one, I already forgot it. I apologize. I'm trying to go by fast. I remember Miss Katie's. I didn't remember Vivian's. Okay. How'd you do on the test? So a lot of times, again, when asking like how you did on a test or something, or like how was your day, I always go with like, was it good? And the reason is for that is because that how just always seems so kind of awkward sometimes. I don't know why, but that's just a me thing. But so if you're saying how'd you do on the test? So you'd be like, and I think this is where it comes in. So I would go your test. So test is going to be 2 fingers bending, test. How, your test, how. And I think that the reason I don't like the how here is because it's such a broad thing. They're like, is it like they're asking like, how was it like, how, and so I would go your test good, check in and see, or you could also just do like test good, bad. So this is time for which, and I use this a lot in class, and it's to help my kids know that I'm giving them an option. I'm giving them good, bad, which one is it? Yes, no, which is it? I've noticed that it has helped them, but that is because they're more delayed, so they aren't always able to understand every sign that I get. And then if you need help, so then you would do and a lot of times if you're making eye contact, you don't always have to do that. You could just look at them and go like, need help, need. So it's that hook, banging, need help. You can always go, I help you, you help me. That's that directional movement. So if you're gonna say like, if you're asking if like they need your help, then you would do help you. Like you would start at yourself and then go outward, help. Yes. For if you're asking your sister, aunt, mother, grandmother how they are doing, again, that's how I would do it, like your mom. Like you could say your mom feeling how. So feeling how, again, I would still do your mom good, feeling fine, or saying fine. Those are kind of keys that I would use, just because when you have that how, it's such a big open thing that's hard to tell. So, okay. So what we'll do for the last few minutes and give everybody a chance, so if you guys can just hold on for a little, is we're gonna have everyone take turns trying to sign a question or a sentence, and it can be as simple as possible. And we are all gonna try to see if we can read it, if you guys can read it. I will help, but I want to see if you guys can do it. Okay. So Miss Amy, I think you're gonna start us off. If that's
I had
okay.
something complicated I was gonna try on you. I need to think of something similar.
Okay. But yes, what you could do is I'm scooting closer so I can see it better. So if you want to start off with a simpler sentence first, and then we can come back with that complex question that I can see, then we can definitely do that. If you need more time, I can always pick on someone else. Or I can have volunteers, but most of the time I see volunteers don't volunteer. No, you're totally fine. Does anyone have one? Anyone can think of a sentence? I know it's hard. It can always be a sentence that we just did. Okay. So the word like is going to be that middle finger of your thumb starting at the center, almost like the top of your ribs, and then pulls out like. Like. Miss Vivian, do you have one ready? The sign for maybe like so is this, like so well, you guys can just try whatever and again, this is
Okay, I've got one. I was trying to do like I was trying to make it a little harder, but I can't because I can't think of something else. Okay. Wait, can y'all see me?
yeah, there we go.
like the cat has destroyed this whole setup. Okay.
So I like chocolate. Good, 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 good. All right.
Oh,
I'm glad to know we all like the same things.
I was gonna try to say I don't like, but then I couldn't think of anything I didn't like. I remembered spider, but I like spider. You know, I don't have anything against spiders. So
Vivian, you don't like this?
Yeah, they're gross.
That's like my favorite fruit. That was like one of the few things that I could actually eat that my mother was like, thank goodness she's eating healthy. I was a very picky kid, didn't like a lot of stuff, but okay.
Right, I've got something simpler.
Okay, perfect.
I'm ready to go. I think I might have to start up. So.
Mm-hmm. All right, did you guys get it? I realized I said Miss Katie's on accident, but
Can you finger spell again? I think I got most of it, just the last part. Is it, can I guess?
close.
Is it
Vivian got
Miss Harvey?
yes.
That's a great dog name, by the way.
I thought you were about to say Henry at first because that was my dog's name. I was like, no way, we're about to have the same because you started with that H, and I was like, what kind of name starts with an H? But obviously, I was thinking of my dog because he's spoiled rotten. But okay. Does anybody else have anyone? I mean, they can literally even just be something that you're just like, it's the simplest thing. So, Lauren, I think you raised your hand.
Mine's very, very simple. Did I do it right? Okay, yay.
Wait, do it again.
So it's close. So she's doing.
Oh, yes. Okay, I did look it up and it told me a different, and I'll explain it.
Oh.
No worries. I mean, that's what literally happens all the time. Like, I'll sign something and it might be wrong. And it's because sometimes you have to always be careful. But yes, so Merry Christmas. Yes, Merry Christmas. But see, I understood it. And so that's one of the nice things is that even if you don't sign it exactly right, not everyone's going to be like, I have no idea what she's talking about. Unless you're talking to a dramatic kid, then they're going to be like, I don't know what you're saying. Because I have a few of those that thankfully aren't in my class, but I see them across the hall and they look at me and they're like, what'd you just say? And I'm like, you know what I said. And they're like, whatever. And I'm like, you knew what I said. So you have this. Okay, yes, Vivian, I'm sorry. All right. Okay, no, that's good. So you like candy. Yeah. So you like candy. One thing I did notice, and this is everybody's, not just Vivian's, I'm not picking on Vivian, I promise, is so the difference between my, yours, his, ours, and then he, she, me, her, I, is the your, if you're talking about anything, it's like possession, it's going to be this open palm. If you were saying anything like that is saying like you or me or I, it's going to be that pointer finger pointing. So that's just, yeah. So you would be like, you like candy, or I like ice cream, you know, her favorite book, whichever. So this is more that possessive, like my, his, hers, theirs, yours. But in the end, I mean, like I said, in the end, you still are actually able to understand it. It's just, it's not the exact 100% accuracy, but that's okay. I'm sorry, I have the hiccups right now, but you guys did really, really, really good. So see, you guys can do it. It's just, I'm sorry, I got really
Can I try my longer one on you now?
Yes. I'm ready to see this. Mm-hmm. So yes, so you said 4 months ago your grandmother died and you were sad, but you're happy because she was sick, correct? You did really good. I'm sorry, so sorry about that happening. And I'm trying not to like ignore that, but I was saying you did really good. I understood what you're saying. So 4 months ago. So that's what that, if you guys could tell that 4 months, yes, it was very clear. I could understand it. So this is how you would do for 4 months, 2 months, 1 month is again that back. And like I said, you can do the numbers here. So very good use of that. I used to always struggle and have to do the 4 months back. And it is always hard to tell through, I love how I was going to sing because I saw the word, but it is hard to tell through Zoom. But you did a really good job. I'm impressed. Oh, so yay. I'm sorry. I always get a little excited when I see everybody's like, oh, I can actually try to use this. And I still definitely recommend if you guys want to continue learning more signs and practicing is it is always hard because everyone always wants to say, well, find someone that you can practice on with, but it's a challenging here, you know. But I think Miss Katie and I have talked about one day hosting a silent dinner or something where we can practice more or doing something of that sort. Probably again when COVID is kind of solved itself and it's all kind of a little more, we can try to see about doing that, which I think would be really fun. But obviously, again, we are going to still have more ASL classes. So, oh yes, that app. Okay. So it's called, I have to double check because there are a couple of apps and some aren't bad. They just don't have many, or they're like, oh no, you have to pay money. But this one I use doesn't. It's called Spread the Sign. And let's see if I can show you. It's this, oh goodness, nope, it's reflecting. It's going to be like an orangey kind of look. Let's see if I can get it. It's blurry, but it's that. And so it's one word. It's like, it looks like one word, but with capital letters. So Spread the Sign. It is. I really like using that one. It's been very reliable. Every time I use it, I'm like, oh no, that's actually what I've seen. Because I don't always like to just like for me, especially for this, because I'm as a teacher, I don't always like to just look up a sign and go, oh, that's got to be it. No, like I like to always background check it just to make sure, because signs change over the years. Signs aren't, I mean, it can be regional. There's always these things that can have it change. And I always want to be sure. But I've noticed if I need like a refresher, and then I'll check and I'll use that. I'm like, oh, wait, yeah, no, that's it. So it's a really good app. I recommend. And there is like a buying, what froze? Sorry. There's like a buying one part of it. You don't have to. Like you really don't. I've never felt the need to, and I've never had to, but there is that other option. I mean,
the buying what allows you to do like favorites, so you can find things you commonly use like really fast. Yes. Okay, that's what the buying is.
I never bought it because
you didn't need it.
Yeah, I just needed a refresher. So, but if that is something you guys are interested in, it does have that also availability as well. And then trying to think of, so on YouTube, there is, let me double check. I want to make sure I get it right for you guys. But on YouTube, there is a like a ASL video. Oh goodness, sorry. YouTube is trying to give me all those ads and I'm trying to be like, no, thank you. Okay. So there is this one guy who does ASL videos, and he's got like learning videos, more in detail, taking more time. And so those are again really good ways to practice and also learn some more if you want to. And he is called Bill. Let me type this in just to be sure. Okay, let's see. Bill Vickers. It's called Life. Oh my goodness, iPad, please. Sorry, I just won't type. Vickers. And I'm sure if you type him in on oh nope, I typed that just to Miss Katie. Why did that go just to Miss Katie? I apologize, you guys. It says direct message. I'm like, wait a minute, that's not what I was saying. Wait, here we go. Okay, but his thing is called, oh my goodness, sorry, my iPad is being stubborn. His videos are called Life Print. There we go. Okay, but Bill Vickers. He's got some really good videos. They're just, and a lot of times it's him actually teaching a hearing person. So you're learning them with someone who's also learning them as well. It's a really cool kind of videos. I like using his. They help me practice, especially when I do this extra practice and reviews. So that's another good, a good place to go, getting some new videos and getting practicing. But yeah, I'm trying to think if there's any other places. And then also he has a website, I believe, called LifePrint. And that's also a good place to go as well. I haven't been on it in a while, so I will say, don't know how much is updated or changed, but the videos are still useful. I've actually not seen, I probably have seen Jeremy Lee, so
he doesn't really even talk necessarily. He just goes into like, he'll have like the Three Little Pigs on then, and then he'll launch into a story. It's really fun to watch. But the nice thing about him is he was really clear. You know how some people are just kind of not as clear?
Yeah.
Like his signs, you can tell exactly what he's trying to do.
Oh, I like that. See, why can I not spell?
And he has a lot of other stuff, but I mean, the stories is what I really enjoyed.
Yes, I always like seeing the stories. They're always so good. Oh, cool. I've not seen him before. Sorry, I was looking him up, trying to make sure I typed it in right. But oh, wow. Yes, no, definitely. I think this is a good, this will be good too.
There's the Three Little Pigs. That was my favorite. It was really fun. He's like, and the wolf said, "I'll blow your house down." And it was like, really fun.
I'm telling you, ASL stories are so much fun to watch. Like, even if you don't fully know what he's saying or what they're saying and you're just watching, it's just like, I mean, it's like watching a play because they're so, like, their facial expressions. I mean, there's this one, and it's like, when you finally know all the signs and what's going on, and it's a really old story about this little girl who like hurts her eye while she's like swinging from vines to vines. It's so funny, but it's so, because like they really describe like the eye, and you're just like, oh, no, like I don't want to know. But like, it's like when they're having the mom like yelling for the daughter because she's like her, she's just like, ah! Like, I mean, it's the funniest thing, and I just start laughing because it's so like, I mean, and she wants it that way, it's always so cool. I always recommend, even if you don't fully know what they're saying, you can pick up on it. And it's also helpful just to see kind of how you would go across with story, because ASL storytelling is a big deal. Like when I mean a big deal, like that's a very big thing, is, because it's not exactly just how we would describe in English. I mean, you're having to put all these different things in motion, like, and you don't sign everything, like if you're saying you're getting up and going to the bathroom, sometimes it's not like you're saying, okay, I'm standing up and I'm walking to the bathroom. No, like they'll be like standing up, like they just start just kind of acting it out, and it's so cool. I just love it. I think that's one of the reasons what really drew me into it was because of the whole dramatics of it, because it's such a cool thing. And I'm a very dramatic person. It's very easy for me to act out. We had to do ASL stories in school, and I, not toot my own horn, but I pretty much was really good at it. Like my co-peers and my peers, not my co-peers, but my peers and my professor were like, you didn't have every single sign right, but man, your facial expressions, you keep that. Just get the correct signs and you'll be good to go. And I was like, thank you. Sad. Okay. Oh my gosh, it's 6:45. Okay. Yes. So Miss Katie, I'm gonna kind of hand it over to you real quick. Is that okay?
I'm gonna hand it over to Lauren. And she can explain, like, are we good with the sentence we talked about? Because everybody saw that. I mean, I guess that would be the.
I tried to think of something good, and I was like, you know what? We're just keep it simple. But so I do the marketing coordination at O'Neill. And next month December is Learn a New Language Month. And so I would like for us, if you're comfortable with it'll just be on our Facebook and our social Instagram, but for us just to sign happy Learn a New Language Month. We like or love learning ASL. And then hopefully I'll plug, so even though our beginner class will be over, I think Miss Jillian and Katie are still going to be doing more beginner classes next year. So then that's the way they, people who haven't got to be in our class yet know about it. And so, and it's just fun because I've been telling everyone I know, I'm like, I'm taking an ASL class and it's great. So hopefully we get more people excited to learn ASL or a new language in general.
So how does that sound to everybody? Are you guys fine with it? If you're not, you can always just kind of leave the class. That's totally fine. I mean, there's no pressure, none. But if you are good to go, and yes, Lauren.
Oh, I was gonna say, and Katie's gonna blur our names, so even though they'll just see our faces. Unless if you want to tag yourself, you're welcome to, but
Yeah, I actually just changed everybody's name to ASL student.
I saw that. I was like, who's doing that? I was like, wow, they're really being proactive and changing their names right now. I was like, I don't even know how to find, but yeah. Okay, so let me pull up my handy dandy sentence so I can make sure I say everything correctly. Because I know it, but my memory sometimes. Okay. So we wanted to say, okay. Let's see. Sorry, it's like a big chunk, and it's hard for me to always pay attention. Okay.
Okay, and I'm gonna talk out loud for a second because right now I've got this on gallery view. Lauren, was that what you said? It seemed like when we were talking, you're muted.
You have to specifically select record on gallery view, and then that way it'll record we're not talking, because that was something I had to Google. So I was like, wait a minute, who's it gonna shine on? None of us are talking. But yeah, so if you click record on gallery view, that should do it, whether whoever's talking or not talking.
What? Okay, let me see if I can figure that out.
Okay, so. Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to think of how to word it and make it look nice while Miss Kate's trying to make sure she's got it going. Because let's see.